Simply Scuba presents the Deco Stop podcast.
You don't, it's loser.
Anyway, hi everybody and welcome to the Deco Stop podcast. I'm Mark. I'm joined today with
Sean. Hello. What's going on, guys?
Sorry, we were mid conversation and then I just decided to start recording. So yeah,
I just taken my clothes off, Mark. I'm sitting there right naked.
But I've covered my webcam app. So anyway, we're here to talk about scuba diving and stuff. So starting off with the Simply Scuba website, not a great deal of updates to the website, nothing overly exciting. We do still have the offer on the Paralens Vaquita, if they say Vaquita or Vaquita, I don't know, which is basically... Vaquita. It's a
Vaquita.
It's basically a dive camera that looks like a torch. I always used to call it torches in the product videos because it's shaped exactly like a torch. But it's an underwater camera and it's very clever. It's designed by scuba divers, so it has a dynamic color control function. So the deeper down you go, it adjusts the white balance, so it kind of gets rid of the blues and the greens. But right now, if you buy one from Simply Scuba, we'll give you a third-person viewer absolutely free, which is worth about 89 quid. So yeah, you can save a bit of money on that and take some pretty funky videos of yourself in the water. But other than that, yeah, we're just doing little sort of tweaks to the website. It's still not 100%, but it's getting there. It's heading in the right direction. Yeah. Cool. Was there anything you noticed this week, Sean?
No, that you should be buying more Simply Scuba own brand merch. And why you
There's
not
a lot
doing
of stock still on the website.
Yeah, come
you
on.
need to start buying it.
Guys, with every order, purchase 5, mask strap wrapper things. Mm-hmm. We've only got about 20,000 of them, so please purchase them.
We're good at marketing.
Full face snorkel masks. Even if you don't have one, buy one for your regular mask. It might rattle around a bit in there, but it will be alright.
I spent ages designing that bag. It's quite easy to design a circle or a square like regulator case. They're pretty easy. You can sort of create the designs and send the dimensions, and someone will make it for you. Trying to make a bag, a 3-dimensional bag, the shape of a full face snorkel mask, that's quite tricky. And then when they ask for dimensions, heavens, because it's kind of egg shaped. So you're like, okay, so 5 centimeters down from the apex, it's this wide, and then 10 centimeters down from that apex, it's this wide. Yeah, that took me a long time to come up with all of those specs, so that they could understand it, and creating like 3D models so that they could go, this is what you want.
We've got 10 of them from other brands in the back sheds.
Yeah, do you want me to just peel this label off and I'll just put your logo on? Yeah, please do that.
Yeah, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Anyway, moving on to our green initiative section. So today I'm talking about the new plastics economy. So this is a global commitment that we've signed up for. We're actually a signatory of this global commitment. And looking at the statistics for last year, 99.8% of our outbound packaging was plastic free. 94.6% of that outbound packaging was made up of recycled natural fibers. So the cardboard boxes and the sort of paper that we're sending stuff out in, 94.6% of that is already recycled. 93.3% of our sort of trash and garbage that we're sort of throwing out at our Kettering distribution centre is recycled, and 92.9% across the rest of the business. So most of the stuff that we throw away does end up recycled, which is amazing. We are a case study in the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, their publication in 2018. So if you want to, you can head over to that and search for the Internet Fusion Group or Surf Dome, and that's us. Basically, we were a case study. We were also a case study in the Ellen MacArthur Foundation's Upstream Innovation Guide. if you flip through to page 136 of the 2020 innovation guide, they sort of broken down sort of what we've done and sort of how it's inspiration for other companies. And they're talking in there. If you go through the whole document, it's everything from like Tesco's, what they're doing, and Walmart, all sorts of big companies, and the fact that they actually noted us and included us as a case study proves that we're doing something right. So yeah,
that's because of us,
quite
Mark.
proud of that. Yep. You and me, we started in what, August, September last year.
Yeah. That's it. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be on whatever that is, the MacArthur Glen. Isn't that an outlet? That's the Nashford outlet, the MacArthur Glen outlet. You want to do some shopping?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, not Ellen MacArthur.
Yeah, no, it's MacArthur or Ellen MacArthur. I think of like that. Was it vegan food?
Yeah. I don't think that's the same person. This is Dame Ellen Patricia MacArthur. She's a retired English sailor, long distance yachtswoman. So yeah, does all sorts of eco stuff nowadays. But yeah, there's the foundation, which is also the eco-friendly bits and bobs. So onto social media channel updates. So on YouTube. Oh, you want to do this, don't you?
I do this. You're jumping over my only segment I have on this channel, other than editing your beautiful face, Mark. Anyway, yeah. So YouTube, the vote is live. So you can vote for. Actually, let me just refresh. So as of recording, in third place we have how freediving can change your life. That one never wins, so I think that's probably going to be the last time that's going to get put in the vote. That's third. Number 2 is a new version, a new style of, or a new type of video. It's a love letter video. And I thought, a love letter to Apex. That's on 22%. But funnily enough, number 1 is 5 ways you can improve your scuba setup at 59%. Who would have thought that one would be in the lead?
Just buy the most expensive piece of equipment.
From simplyscuba.com.
From simplyscuba.com.
No other online retailer is good enough for you.
Assemble it yourself. Duct tape and cable ties.
If I was going to say duct tape, cable ties. If number 1 is not blue tack, I'm going to be very angry.
Now white tack.
White tack.
More sticky. What was the difference? Was white was
I don't
like
know.
that, like bonded harder or something, didn't it?
I think
it became
so.
More like a
no, I think it didn't. If you had white walls, it didn't leave residue.
Yes, yeah.
Something to do with that. Because blue
like
tack.
there were all of those schoolyard like myths, like the 2 different sides of the rubber. The red side, that was with pencil, but the blue side, that was with pen. That could erase pen. That's rubbish. Apparently, it's just a bit more abrasive.
Can you not shatter my dreams, please?
Oh no!
Do you remember the actual pen erasers though? They were all right.
Yeah.
And then like you put it on there, but then you can still see you can still see what you wrote originally behind it. Or like you'd have to erase the pen and then you'd have to let the paper dry to then write over it. Or you start writing again. It's just like, I was going to swear then. Balls.
Curses.
The
one that sticks in my mind, and this is going to immediately sort of date how old I am, is Yikes pencils. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And they weren't made out of wood. They were made out of like recycled CDs, and they were like brightly coloured, and they were the nicest pencils to sharpen. I know it's like a really dorky kind of thing to say, but yeah, they were really easy and really nice to sharpen. You got a really fine point. Whereas with the pencil ones, you had broken leads, so you had to sharpen it all the way back down, and the 2 separate bits of wood would separate. But with Yikes, yeah, they were good fun. They were.
Today's Deco stop is sponsored by Yikes pencils, if they still exist.
Do
the
they
nicest
still
pencils? I don't know. Anyway, guys, what do you remember fondly from your childhood? Let us know in the comments below on YouTube. and we'll see if there's any facts. Let's try and just I don't know, disprove. Let's do a bit of what's that show called? Oh, Mythbusters.
Mythbusters.
We're going to be fact busters from your childhood.
I don't think they exist anymore. But
Well,
there's a lot of there's like a dedicated Reddit page on nostalgia for Yikes pencils.
There's a dedicated Reddit page for everything.
Yeah.
Other than us, I don't think we've got a Reddit page.
Oh, I don't know if I want to. Reddit Simply Scuba.
Well, I know. I reckon I posted something on there when
when we're coming back.
Yeah, when we're coming back. But other than that, don't go down that one.
No.
Anyway, when I edit these things, I'm like, why is the social section? Why is that like so long? And I'm like, oh, it's because we go on a complete blooming tangent.
Yeah. Sorry.
So anyway,
onto Instagram. Yeah.
No, there's one other thing I didn't put on the list. Guys, what is your obsession with octoclips? I don't understand your obsession with octoclips. Why has that video got like 2,000 views? It's an octoclip.
There must be something in there that the YouTube algorithm just goes, yeah, people must be interested in this. Because it's not a long video. It's just over 2 minutes. But yeah.
You guys, you weirdos, love an maybe it's like a fetish. Do you scuba divers have a fetish over octoclips?
Oh, it's not a bolt snapper or anything good. It's just an octoclip.
Obviously, the octoclip is the new bolt snap.
Yeah, 2021 bolt snap. God knows. Anyway,
yes, Instagram. So, from the 13th of July, we are going to be using your posts as lifestyle shots because we can legally do that. So we're stealing your image. No, well, we are. But basically, if you've got a lovely scuba diving picture that's on your Instagram, just use the hashtag simplyscuba in it, and we will search for it, or we'll basically click on the hashtag and see what people have posted. And if we like it, we will feature your picture, your post, on our channel. Obviously, we'll link everything back to you and all that sort of thing. You've got to do that, haven't you, when it comes to reposting? But yeah, so rather than generic scuba diving posts, we are now going to purely do reposts. Yeah, just to give you that community feel, and just to get involved more. Obviously, we're still gonna have the little audio blurb from Deco Stop. That's still going to be on there, and of course we're still going to be putting promoting pictures or products, should I say, because we're an internet online store. That's why internet exists. But yeah, we just want to give back a little bit. Share your pictures. So yeah, use the hashtag simplyscuba on your posts, and if we think the picture's cool, we'll put it on there. And if you didn't use it, but I find your picture and I think it's cool, I've got to put it on there anyway. So, and you can't do anything about it.
That's how Instagram works.
Seriously, guys, a lot of people don't realise it, but you don't. As soon as you upload your picture to Instagram, you don't own it anymore, and it's very worrying.
Yeah, all those terms and conditions that you just quickly scrolled through and just hit that accept button.
Yeah, it's a very grey, murky thing. Did you hear about
one? Oh, go on.
No. I was going to say
the one.
Go ahead.
There's apparently, I'm not sure if it's still there, but there's a clause in the Amazon terms and condition, which basically refers to a zombie apocalypse, which I think is quite funny. It doesn't specifically say zombie, but it's in the unlikely event of a global virus that reanimates the dead or something, then something or other. It's a very nothing clause, and it's like number 1326 bonkers somewhere like in the middle. And but yeah, so someone actually read through them, and it refers to a zombie clause.
A zombie apocalypse.
Amazon zombie.
While he's searching for that, I'll tell you about my story. So a model went to an agency or an office basically, and she noticed that one of her Instagram posts they'd actually printed and shoved it on the wall, like in a big frame sort of thing. And she was just like, "Well, hold on, why? How dare you take my image?" And I'm like, "They're like, oh no, we can do it." They're like, "What?" It's just like, "Yeah, it's a very grey area as long as you don't alter the image in any way, shape, or form to how it was uploaded or how it went live. Sorry, on Instagram." You have the right to use it, and you don't even need to ask permission. It's really dodgy, guys. Especially coming from someone who's had a child, and they're like, "Why don't you put your pictures of your kid on Instagram?" It's just like, because that's not right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the zombie clause, more importantly,
Of course.
I think by a quick Google, I think it's been updated, but it was clause 57.10 of the Amazon something terms and conditions states the restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization.
Brilliant. Now, do you reckon they must be like that all the time? Because those guys that have got come up with these terms and conditions must be so bored of doing it.
Yeah.
You're going to shove that thing in.
No one ever reads these, but this will be a fun little Easter egg if anyone actually does. But
good.
I thought that was quite funny. I think they've updated it since, but yeah, that was a fun little Easter egg.
So, to take from that, Instagram, before I swiftly move on to the podcast, we're stealing your images, but we're going to ask you to use the hashtag.
Because it's not really considered stealing, is it?
It's not.
I
it's
think
public
this
domain.
Has been,
it's a very grey area.
Court. Because it's a matter of, it's not a tangible something that we are removing from your ownership. It's still there. We're just sort of taking a copy, and with like online piracy and all that kind of stuff, I think it's very grey, murky legal area. Because all this stuff has just popped up so quickly, and all the legislation hasn't really caught up. So it's kind of. And I don't think you even legally have to, give credit or something.
No, you don't have to do anything. You can just take the image, as long as you don't alter it, as long as you don't stretch it, you don't play around with it. Because when I download it, rather than doing screenshots off the computer or whatever, I have an app. So then it downloads the carbon copy, so it's exactly what it is. So yeah, as long as you don't alter the image, everything else is fine.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously will tag you if it is your photo. I'm
gonna just tag other people, random people. Dave127, mate, you're gonna get tagged. No, we will. If we use your image, you will know, because we will at you. Because the whole point of it is growing a community, and if we don't at people, then there's not much of a point of growing a community. Anyway, so that's the deep dark hole that is Instagram and just general social media, and why we should not do it. But please don't forget to follow us and
like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. And then just quickly, again, this social element's been it's probably been rolling for about 20 years. But quickly, podcast. So obviously, last episode I asked you guys and girls if you could please go over to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating. And if you can, give us a bit of blurb as well about why you enjoy the show. And thank you, because a lot of you did. A lot of you rated, and a lot of you left a couple of comments, which is brilliant. So thank you ever so much for doing that. And if you want to do it again, have at it. I'm still trying to figure out Google. I don't understand Google Podcasts, because there's no rating system. There's no comments. It's literally our RSS feed on a white bit of... I don't know whether Google are doing something else. Google Podcasts? I don't know. Google, I know you watch this. I know you're definitely listening to us right now. Sort it out, mate. I don't use it either, because I'm a Spotify. I'm all about the Spotify life, because that is the biggest platform that you can get your podcast. Unless you live in America. America is number one is Apple, and then it's Spotify. But everywhere else in the world, it's Spotify by about 30 million. It's ridiculous.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that
I'm surprised
they've changed
Google
it
aren't more
on
it.
it.
Google Podcasts.
Because they're too busy trying to make games consoles that don't work or glasses that don't work.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you remember Google Glass?
Yeah. Oh, sick burn, Google. I love you, Google. If you're listening to this, please don't spam me with crap. But yeah. Anyway,
our social Google credit score has just been docked 5 points.
So yeah, I know. You know what? I'm just going to mention this right now. Whilst we're talking, we've gone into the thick of
the gibberish zone.
the gibberish of the internet, Mark. Because this is what people love about Deco Stop is when we don't talk about scuba diving and our social lives. So you were looking at those rugs the other day.
Yeah.
They appeared on my feed again, and I'm like, just like the sunglasses. I'm like, what? I didn't even say anything. I didn't even search it because you were showing me. Like,
mate. Yep. It's clever. For those of you who weren't party to this conversation,
which is everyone.
I'm in the market for a new rug, and it just happened on my personal Instagram feed that it came up with rugs, but that kind of makes sense because I was searching for them, and I found a company and I found some funky designs, and I was just chatting with Sean online, and I mentioned them, screen shared them, just to show him the designs, and then Google has managed to pick up on that, and now on Sean's like internet feed, cookies stuff,
I'm getting rugs. So thank you. And a couple of weeks ago, it happened with sunglasses, and I'm like, I don't even want it. I don't have the £300 to pay for these sunglasses.
Oh,
but yeah.
It's
so
the
anyway,
world we
guys, guys, enjoy the rug adverts that you're going to be getting. Or shop at simplyscuba.com. Simplyscuba.com is the perfect if I keep mentioning Simply Scuba.
Simplyscuba.com.
Hey Google, take me to simplyscuba.com. Hey Alexa, Alexa, I'd like to buy the X-Deep NX700 reg, please. From simplyscuba.com. See, we did it clean, mate. We didn't do a South Park where they were saying to order certain plugs of something from Alexa.
Oh no. Bathroom plugs.
Anyway,
so onto scuba news.
What we got to talk about scuba diving every week? I know. You always go back.
So the interesting news this week is that Deep Dive Dubai opened its doors. So this is now the Guinness World Record holder of the deepest swimming pool in the world. It's 60 meters deep. It has like 14 million gallons of water or something in it. It's huge, of course they sort of announced it. They released the trailer and all that kind of stuff. I think at the moment it's still invitation only, but then I think you can book tickets to go dive it in by the end of July.
We are available by the end of July. I mean, I won't go down that deep. I'll go down as far as I can hold my breath and before I get squished. But Dubai, if you want to pay for everything, we're more than welcome to do a video.
I'm happy to travel over. It's It's been more than a year since I've been to Dubai. It was only a stopover flight.
It was, wasn't it?
Coming back from Australia, but yeah.
And
so
then
this,
you brought COVID to us, so this is all your fault, Mark.
Patient zero. No. So the water temperature is kept at 30 degrees Celsius, which is a very comfortable water temperature. 14 million litres of water, sorry. It's fresh water, so you don't have to worry about your kit and salt and all that kind of stuff.
Brita filtered.
It's Dubai. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's not like some sort of crystal champagne or something, the water.
On special request, I imagine they would. But it has all these different sections, whereas like Nemo 33 and Y40, they're pretty much just swim pools on steroids. They're just pools.
It's just a big old mate.
Yeah, of course, Dubai has to go like one or two more. There's like a tree I think I saw a Bentley underwater in one of these sections. There's an entire arcade where you can like play games and stuff. I think I saw a library. There's all these like swim through sections, like graffiti walled sections, which are pretty cool. All these like glass windows through to different sections of the overall complex. They're looking to open up a restaurant as well. And I think I did read somewhere they're opening an on-site hyperbaric chamber because at 60 meters deep, yeah, someone's probably going to hurt themselves. Because if you're not like tech qualified and you just kind of like look down and go, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, at 60 meters, they got Pac-Man. I want to go down there.
But yeah, it looks pretty cool. And yeah, it's smashed.
It's a false bottom, by the way, just to let you know. It's actually deeper than 60 meters. You've got to get through that false bottom, and then the Meg's there. Boom!
What they should have done is just put a giant mirror at the bottom so it looks even deeper still. That would have been quite cool. But yeah, sort of traditional stuff. You can book courses and sort of learn how to dive there. They've got all sorts of professional divers on hand to do different courses. You can do all sorts of free diving as well. Of course, all the way down to tech as well. And yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's a nice controlled environment where, yeah, if you want to sort of dive deep, you don't have to worry about current. You don't have to worry about temperatures. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, check it out. Deep Dive Dubai, and then yeah, in what is it? June, July, August. Yeah, you can go diving there if you want. I haven't seen the price list. Let's have a quick look. Is there a price list?
I'm seeing if we follow them on Instagram.
We do, as of last night.
It just says
it just says bookings opening soon. Notify me. So it doesn't seem to have a price list as of yet. But hey,
that thing's going to cost a tenner. Just a tenner.
Pretty cheap. Next one is the two fires that broke out in the middle of the oceans. So on last Friday week, the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico literally caught fire. It was all over social media, but if you missed it, it was basically it was right next door to a oil refinery owned by Pemex, I think. And they're basically, apparently it was just a gas leak, an underwater gas leak, which of course burst into flames. And yeah, this huge just swath of water was literally on fire. And they had all these fire boats, which were just tiny in comparison, just trying to spray water on this fire in the middle of the ocean. Eventually they managed to put it out. And then it was like a day later or something, there was a apparent mud volcano, which some like geologists have said, yeah, this is a thing, but it's unbelievably rare, and it just so happens that it's right next to another oil refinery in the Caspian Sea or somewhere, and they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go with the mud volcano thing. And I think it's created like a little island by the looks of it. I think this is just like it could be a mud volcano where basically sort of just stuff from the bottom of the ocean just gets pushed up to the surface. But it's like, ugh, guys, the ocean's on fire again.
Yeah. There I am complaining about explosions in space and Star Wars, but the actual ocean was on fire. Do you reckon like those people that are trying to put the fire out? It's just like, well, why are we putting water on it? It's surrounded. What are we doing?
Yeah. What else can we do other than just spray more water on it? Yeah, they managed to put it out, but yeah, it's just, oh guys, I think we need to come up with alternative energies. Whilst all these companies are like trying to make us, the general public, feel bad for like leaving the tap running or just like drinking with plastic straws or something. In the grand scheme of things, they're doing a lot worse. So
Yes.
yeah, I think we still need to
Smoke and
be sort
mirrors,
of
mate.
yeah. Just distract them enough so that they forget about all these horrible things that we're doing. Nah. But one nice thing that we're doing is here in the UK, there's a new bill that's going through, I think it's the House of Lords, which is basically going to finally recognise the fact that lobsters, crabs, octopuses, squids, and other invertebrates officially recognise that they feel pain. And
Woo!
recognize them as sentient beings, so we can't throw them in like boiling water and stuff. So I don't know why it's taken us that long, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is the thing. If you don't believe that fish and other like marine life or crustaceans and stuff feel pain, then you're a bit of an idiot in my views. Of
Hey,
course,
pescatarians,
they feel
mate.
pain. I
Pescatarians.
I really don't understand that. It's like, yeah,
I
this
don't want to
rabbit,
eat
yeah, that
cows,
can
but
feel pain. But no, this fish, no, even though when I poke it with a stick, it swims away from me. No, that's not pain. Lord knows. But yeah, this is part of the Animal Welfare Sentience Bill, which is making its way through the House of Lords. At the moment, it only covers vertebrates, so stuff with a backbone. But in response to calls from sort of campaigners and ministers and all sorts of stuff, they're preparing to sort of back an amendment that extends this legislation to include shellfish and cephalopods and all that kind of stuff.
awesome.
Because, of course. So yeah, we're finally becoming enlightened. I think it's already a thing in like Switzerland and Norway and a few other countries who already sort of understand this and sort of have it in legislation. But yeah, I like to think that they're so busy with like very important things, they just haven't had the time to get around to it yet.
Yeah, what, sleeping with their secretaries or whatever else they do.
Allegedly.
Yeah, whatever. Dirty. Anyway, yeah, yeah. They're so busy sorting out COVID, even though they created it. That's right. I'm going for the conspiracy side. They did it.
No.
Jeff
I mean,
Bezos, he made it.
that's why he's leaving the planet.
Exactly.
No, I mean, let's be fair. They do change the legislation about once every other week. So yeah, they are quite busy.
I know. I'm only trying to poke the bear a little bit, get some commenters. Let's move on now. So, Mark, what is your product of the week?
So my product of the week is the best divers Amphi Horn, which is I call it a quacker. I'm not sure if anyone else calls it a quacker. That's just what I call
Are
them.
you off your meds, mate?
No, because they make the sound of a duck. And so to get your buddy's attention underwater, there's a few different methods. You can either clonk something against your cylinder, whether it's a tank banger or like a bolt snap or something. If you tap it on your tank, it makes that metallic resonant sound. So that's a good way of getting your buddy. Or you use a rattle, something that shakes in the water. But the problem is that these are quite prevalent, and it relies on you sort of reaching around to try and sort of find your tank and the tank banger. And if everyone has it, then someone makes a noise because sound travels so fast, and you can't really tell where it's coming from in the water. You don't really know if it's your buddy or just anybody in a nearby radius trying to get your attention. But with a quacker, it basically attaches to your airline that feeds your BCD, and it uses a small amount of gas, and all it does is it sort of vibrates this metal disc inside of it. You push the button and it just quacks. So it's a really distinctive noise. and it's very easy to use because it's right next to your inflator. So if you need to get your buddy's attention, you just whack, and then it gets their attention. They're also useful on the surface. This one does work in air. There were some older designs that didn't, but this one I tested it out sort of here, and yes, it does work. I think it's between like 120 to 150 decibels, so it's really loud. So if you're lost at sea but there's like a boat, a search and rescue boat or something nearby, then you can sort of press this, dunk your head under the water and press it, and that's really quite loud. Apparently it's the sort of sound of a jet fighter taking off we looked up earlier. But yeah, so yeah, they're available from sort of Simply Scuba. There'll be a link down in the description below. It's just reminded me of another news story that I saw on Instagram, and it was I can't remember, somewhere in the States. I think Florida. I could be wrong. But they were on their like fishing boat, and they were just kind of cruising around, and they approached this other vessel, and there was like nobody on board. So they were like, "Ooh, this is kind of eerie." They kind of like boarded and sort of checked around to see if sort of there was anyone in the water, and it was just like freely just floating, no power or anything. And they were like sort of checking wallets for IDs to see whose boat it was. They sort of contacted the Coast Guard. And they basically went on the ship's GPS, and they kind of travelled back sort of along its path. They found a pair of boots like floating in the water, and they're like, "Ooh, something bad's happened." But luckily, they managed to sort of find the guy. He was out fishing, and yeah, just fallen overboard and just lost his boat. So happy ending, but yeah, it's one of those kind of like incredible stories. And yeah, if he had like a very loud acoustic device, just makes it a lot easier for you to be sort of found if you're ever lost out at sea.
It'd be really annoying though if you've got one and then you see the search party, you're like quack quack quack, and they're like you're like, I'm over here. So it's like, no, that's just a duck. We don't need to go over there.
They're actually out duck hunting.
Yeah. Or like you do it and like you quack 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 quack, and like no one's coming, but then all of a sudden a bunch of ducks come. Mummy, you wanted us? Quack, quack, quack.
This is not the result I intended.
No, cool. But yes, there will be a link pinned in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching or listening to this as a podcast, go to YouTube. Because I still don't know how the link system works. I'm a bit new to that.
It doesn't really, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Anyway, so Mark, that was an amazing product of the week. I've got a question for you, which I never would have thought in all my days would be slightly controversial. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Dan, that is the Diver Alert Network, not your mate Dan, changing the quarter rule turn? Because apparently this has upset a lot of people, and I never thought it would have.
Yeah, so if you don't know sort of anything about this, so this is it's basically how you open your tank valves. So when I learnt to dive, I was taught you open the cylinder valve, you open it all the way open, and then you just turn the handle a quarter turn back or a half turn back, something along those lines. And I never really thought much of it. It's what my instructor told me to do, so I did it. And then I think it was February this year, Divers Alert Network, they released an article which was basically saying, we shouldn't really be doing this anymore because there have been a few reported incidents and even a fatality related to this. And the basic theory is that because not everyone sort of fully understands when they which way to rotate a cylinder valve. If you don't dive a lot, it's quite easy to do it the wrong way and inadvertently close an already open tank without knowing it. And they basically say what we should be doing, instead of the quarter turn back, we should just fully open our cylinder valves or fully close them. because if you do the quarter turn and you close an already open valve and then do a quarter turn back open, so your tank valve is only open just a quarter turn, it's enough to allow a bit of gas to get through into your regulators. So when you look at your gauges, it looks as if your tank is full. You can take a breath of air or something, look back at your gauges, and it's still full. So you're under the impression that your tank valves are open when they're actually not completely open. You can still breathe from it, but only very gently. If you really need to take a good proper breath, there's not enough airflow to physically give you that, and in some cases it can actually create a choke point and sort of shut off the air supply for a second. So it can be quite serious. And a lot of people sort of like jump down Dan's throat, sort of saying, oh no, I've been doing the quarter turn and nothing's ever gone wrong, and oh, this, that and the other, I'm never changing, how dare you, all this kind of stuff. And and it's a matter of, if you don't do the quarter turn rule, then your tank valve is either on or off. It's very definitive. It's very obvious when it's fully closed, even accidentally. So it's just an extra measure to reduce the chances of something like that going wrong. Because if you do check your gauges, then the needle is going to drop and it's going to stay down. So it's really obvious if you've done something wrong. Whereas if it's just a quarter turn open, there's that bit of sort of ambiguity. So yeah, it's not like I mean, Dan don't make the official scuba diving rule book. It's not you have to do this, otherwise the scuba police will come along and arrest you. It's a matter of, oh well, yeah, the general consensus and kind of the best practices sort of agreed upon by most people nowadays are just fully open your tank valves. One of the main reasons why we had that quarter turn rule was pretty old tank valve designs. If you did open them fully and the tank valve got really cold in cold water or something, and with sort of gas passing through it, the metal gets cold, it could actually seize the mechanism, so then it would be really hard for you to close that valve again. And also, if you opened it really fully, you could damage a seal. But since then, we've updated tank valve designs, so it's not so much an issue anymore. So it's kind of, we don't really need to be doing it anymore. You can just open your tank valves fully and everything will be fine. So, yeah.
How dare you? How dare you alter tradition? How dare Look, this is scuba diving, remember that. We don't like change.
We don't like change.
Hence why there's a massive argument about this.
So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'll just open up my tank valves all the way. I think the most important thing is that you check your gauges properly when you take those like testing breaths before you jump in the water. As long as you're watching that needle, as long as the needle doesn't move, then you're fine. But I mean, it happens to all sorts of levels of divers. And when I was thinking back, it even happened to a diver friend of mine. We were on a training dive, and during the dive, he said there was something wrong with his regulator, but it was okay. He could sort of manage with it. He passed it to me. I sort of took a breath from it, and you're like, yeah, what's wrong? And he sort of took it back, and he said, it's okay, but it's just, I'm not really happy with it. So I was like, oh, okay. And we got out of the water, and yeah, he found out that his tank valve was only open a little bit. So yeah, you can get a bit of gas out of it, but not a lot if you need to demand a lot of gas. And obviously the deeper down you go, the more gas you need. So yeah, it is a thing. And maybe if he didn't do that sort of quarter turn rule, then yeah, he wouldn't have had that problem. I mean, touch wood, nothing's ever bad happened to me personally doing the quarter turn rule. But yeah, going forwards, I probably will open my tank valves all the way.
There we go.
Yeah.
What about you, guys? What about me? I actually dive just with my one breath. I'm a free diver, but I can stay down there for hours.
Yeah. But only once.
Yeah, exactly. Was it Dwight? What is it? Dwight from The Office. One of his quotes is, Oh, I've totally forgotten. I've totally forgotten it now. It was just in my head, but basically it was something like the lines of, you live each day, you live your day every whatever. Basically, you only die once. That there was a link. I promise you guys, there was a link, but I've completely forgotten what it is. So on that bombshell, but yeah, no, that's very interesting. I never thought a quarter turn would upset so many people. What are your thoughts about it? Let's have arguments in the comments, guys. Let's annoy some people. Let's poke some bears. Let us know. It's not like you're going to be doing a whole video on this, is there, Mark? Oh wait.
Spoilers. Oh wait. Yeah. I'm doing a deep dive about it. So yeah, what, like
look out for
Sunday
that.
week? Yeah, give it a couple weeks. Yeah. Okay.
And it'll be out.
But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know what your thoughts on the quarter turn rules are. If you're thinking about changing it, because yeah, it kind of makes sense. We don't really need to be doing it anymore. There's no definitive reason why you should. The other one was the prevalence of transmitters, which wasn't in the Dan article, but it's something that I thought of, in that there's a time lag between the time when there's a pressure change in your tank or in your regulators, and then it shows up on your computer. There's, depending on the transmitter, there's usually like a 2-second lag between that pressure change. So if you take a couple like test breaths from your regulator and you look at your dive computer, because you don't have an SPG, you're relying purely on that transmitter. If you look away quick enough, you might not notice that that pressure drops. So yeah, that's something worth considering.
Sounds dodgy, mate. Sounds like dodgy equipment.
Well, no, it's just because they're a beacon, and they just broadcast the tank pressure once every other second or every few seconds or something. Because on most dives, the pressure doesn't change that quickly, and to save battery life and all that kind of stuff, it only broadcasts every other second or something. So yeah, if you're not paying attention, yeah.
Ooh, naughty.
Another reason I always dive with an analog backup, available from simplyscuba.com.
Yes.
But anyway, don't forget to follow the Simply Scuba podcast, because you've listened all the way through all of the rubbish that Sean and I have been talking about this week.
Oh yeah.
We've been on a few tangents. We apologise for that. Next week will be much better. We'll only talk about scuba diving stuff.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
But if you enjoy this, we make all sorts of other content on sort of YouTube mainly. So head over to YouTube, search for Simply Scuba, like, share, and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget to rate us wherever you are rating us. Hopefully it's on like Apple Podcasts or something.
Tinder and Grindr.
What is it? Bumble? Is Bumble another one?
I don't know. I'm too old.
We're not down with it anymore, are we? No. We don't say yeet.
No. Get out.
We're getting old, Sean. Yeah, do all the social media stuff, and that encourages us, and we'll do more of it. Don't forget to check out simplyscuba.com, because we sell all sorts of interesting scuba diving equipment, and new stuff is arriving all the time. We try and put as much information as possible in our listings so that you have the most information. We don't just copy and paste the brand page, because that's no use to you. So we try and put in as much information as we can get on the brand page. We try and be the best scuba diving website we possibly can. If you're looking at something and it looks a bit expensive, then we also have Klarna 0% finance, which makes your sort of buying options a little bit easier. You can kind of defer payments and split them up into different chunks. So yeah, it just makes it a bit easier to buy the more expensive diving equipment. We also have Adyen, which is if you know what Adyen is, makes it a lot easier to buy stuff, and it's a bit encrypted as well, so it sort of protects your money and your personal details online when shopping. If you have any questions, comments, queries, corrections about anything that you've heard today, try and use the hashtag AskMark when you're writing in the comments section, and then we will address them in the Friday show. Thank you for listening, everybody, and of course, safe diving.
Stay classy, scuba divers.
The Deco Stop podcast is produced and recorded by Simply Scuba, the UK's #1 dive store. Visit today at simplyscuba.com.